Hey everyone, hope you are doing well. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Today we are going to be making this cute little lantern out of a pirouette can, and all materials will be listed at the end of the video. The first thing we're going to do is prime our can to get rid of some of those designs and enable us to draw on it with a flat white spray paint. And then I'm a huge advocate for the sketch. I decided the kind of sunburst design would be the easiest. So on your can, find the seam that already exists. We need to lay out some holes for where our chain is going to go through. That's not the right way to say it, but you know what I mean. So using a ruler, just try to draw a line, a guideline, directly across from that seam on the top, and then draw a matching vertical line down the side of the can so we can get those holes in the right place. There's a ridge right at the top of the can, and we are going to draw large dots to represent the holes where our chain is going to go through. This is also going to help us center our design because we want our design to be on the front and the back of the can between these two holes so that they face out when the lantern is hanging. So use some baker's twine. A string that isn't stretchy is ideal, or if you have a measuring tape that is like curvy, I didn't have one. So measure between those two holes, cut the length, and then right in the center you're going to make a mark so you know where the center is on your can. So lining that string up with the holes, you can mark on the top and the bottom of the can where that marker is on your string, and that's going to be the center of your design. So once you get that on, use a ruler to connect those two lines so that you start to have a good idea of where your workspace is going to be. I also went ahead and marked a line in the center of the can. So just measuring the length of the can vertically, splitting it in half, and putting a line there. So once you have your design space laid out and you know what you're working with, you can start to draw on your design. If there are any words showing through or any print showing through on the can that help you keep things straight, I definitely recommend utilizing that. I finished the border design completely so that I could start to work on the center design and that I would have a better idea of my layout, so I highly recommend that. I just darkened up that grid line that we set up at the beginning of the video so that you guys could see it better. And then you can just use that to create your designs. If you look at it, you can really see that separating it in these right angles, it gives you 4 quadrants like in math class back in the day. And it helps you to get the proper spacing for your design, and it helps you lay things out better. So I'm going to be using multiple drill bits. So I'm drawing a smaller dot to represent, my smaller hole, and then a little bit of a larger dot where my bigger holes will go. And this will just add some visual interest. You don't have to use multiple drill bits, but the spacing and the size of the hole is what is going to add more interest to your design. But use your little quadrant graph setup along with the other dots to gauge your spacing, because circular designs can definitely be harder to create. So this is what the design looks like when both sides of the can are done, and then you can move on to drilling. Right now I have the drill bit in for the larger size holes. That is what I started with. By the way, 100%, if you have work gloves, I definitely recommend using them for this project. My hand was only this close to the drill for the video, which really doesn't make sense because I did the rest off camera. But there are definitely some times where your hand is close to a drill and you're probably going to want some work gloves. I also used a face mask for this part, and if you want safety goggles, you can use those too. If you are a child, definitely get your parents' help with this DIY. So for the holes that your chain will go through, your drill bit's a lot bigger, so you may have to use a smaller drill bit to drill a smaller hole, and then go back in with your larger drill bit and drill that hole as it needs to be. Mine was trying to bend, so that is what I had to do. And full disclosure, there are some very sharp points inside of this can, but I haven't had any issues yet. So now we can paint. I decided to paint mine gold on the inside after I painted it black. So if you want to paint it gold on the inside, this is a great time to do that. But what we're doing is just throwing some paper in here so that we can mask it. As long as the paper is touching the edge of the can, you are good to go. And then we can just go ahead and throw a couple of coats of thick black spray paint on here. You know, letting it dry between layers as you do with spray paint. Okay, so if you want to paint it gold on the inside, and you haven't already done so, you are going to grab a piece of paper, lay it on top of another piece of paper a couple of inches below it, and then once your lantern dries, just roll it up inside of that paper hot dog style. I'm doing it this way because I didn't want to put any tape on the actual lantern because I don't want my black spray paint to peel off because I ran out during this project. Taping it up with some painter's tape, nice and snug so it is against the lantern, and we can spray paint the gold. By the way, spray paint it upwards from an angle instead of straight down to avoid it getting on the black because you don't need it to go all the way down to the bottom of the lantern anyway. Now we've got to get our chain on, so measure 2 lengths of the can. Really, you can do it the size that you want, but I found that that proportion was nice. And then about 7 or 8 lengths extra on each side to make the loops through the lantern. So then just string the chain through the lantern, easy peasy. Open it up with a couple of pair of needle nose pliers. Loop that link back through the chain on the opposite side of the lantern and squeeze it back closed with your needle nose pliers, and you are good to go. Again, I'll tell you the materials in a second that I used. More specifically, they'll also be in the description box below. I hope you guys like this video. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are all so safe and so happy at home, that you have everything that you need. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you very soon. I used white and black spray paint, both flat. I used a gold metallic spray paint, 2 pairs of needle nose pliers, a drill, and some drill bits. I will list those sizes in the description box below so you know exactly what I used. Some painter's tape, a non-stretchy string like baker's twine, a ruler, a pencil, a chain, a couple of pieces of paper for masks, and then an actual face mask. Again, safety goggles and hand gloves if you want to be extra safe, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.